everybody, this is Em from DIYM. Today we're going to do another cat face video. I know I keep using this die, but it's honestly so much fun to use, super versatile, and it's super easy because it's such a big die. I keep saying that you can use this die for obviously embellishments and cards and that sort of thing, so you can decorate a gift bag and stuff with it because it's quite a large die. I think I said in another video that you can also use it on a banner, but I keep forgetting to say you can make this into an album or something like that, like a book cover, and then have cat pages on the inside. So people have made embellishment books and things like that with this sort of thing because it's quite large and it has like a lot of space, so you can put photos and things like that. You can even put recipes and stuff in there. I'm sure you could do like a fine little recipe book. There's so much stuff you could do. It's such a simple die with lots of different little parts that I'm not even using, right? I'm not even using this stuff. I'm just using these two, if anything. Anyways, I just wanted to show you guys my own personal little illustration that I'm deciding to do. And not only that, but I'm also using a different drawing method. So we've already done Photoshop and Illustrator. And if you don't have Photoshop and Illustrator, I also showed how to do just using dies that I had and hand cutting things. So this time I'm using Procreate to just make my own cat design. Because I'm an illustrator, I might as well use that skill that I have to show you guys a few things that I did in Procreate. If you want to, you can draw things by hand, obviously, so maybe cut out something prior and then draw things out. But I love the fact that with digital art you can print things up over and over and over again and basically manufacture stuff. So say you like your drawing that you did, you can always scan it obviously and digitize it and print that out after that way. But I like to personally do the digital work first, have like a big border around it, and then cut things out. So anyways, that's what I'm going to do in this video if you guys are interested in seeing sort of a Procreate tutorial. And then I do a tiny bit of extra work in Photoshop, not much. I'll show you guys that next. So here I started off with the original template that I made in Illustrator and Photoshop. And then I just decided to color that in a solid color. So I used my original image that I made in Procreate forever ago for Valentine's Day of my cat design. And I sort of just started doing an eye shape and ear and that sort of stuff. I used different pen tools here. So I think I used different brushes, the calligraphy brushes. One was the script tool that kind of gave like a thin and a thicker line eventually, sort of tapered at the end. And then another one was a I think it's called monoline brush. And then I started flipping everything around like I like to do, as you've seen me do before in Illustrator and Photoshop. So I just did a little flip horizontal for a lot of this stuff when I made just one of them, and then just adjusted things, right? So I obviously made nose and mouth. I should also mention that I was doing a lot of layers when I was making this face, and then I was merging things together in order to create the whole face. So yeah, I made a little mouth and tongue here as well. This is me making the whiskers, adjusting that as I go. Just getting basic shapes and stuff, right? Duplicating that and then flipping it horizontally and adjusting it whenever necessary. This I was playing around a little bit more with more texture brushes. I don't really remember. I think it just was in the texture section. I don't exactly remember the name of the brush, but if I can, I'll try to put it on screen here. Yeah, and then I was just sort of playing with different colors and different patterns of cats and different eye colors as well. Yeah, and this is me I didn't want to do a full-on black cat. Oh, I was also erasing a little bit of the ear. Like I went a little bit over on the pink part of the ears. So just erasing that sort of thing. I could see it showing up a little bit more in the darker purpley black color. So yeah, so as a black cat, I didn't want it to be fully black because I wanted to see the details of, you know, the whiskers and all the other line work and stuff. So I just made it like a purpley black color. So yeah, I was just trying to adjust a few things here, trying to figure out what I was doing as I went. After a while, I get rid of the white background to make a PNG. So I wanted to make the background a little more transparent. But yeah, and then I made a white cat. And I was just sort of playing around so that the white was a little bit off as well. It's like a bluier tone. You can see the difference between the eyes and the face color. And then I was just sort of playing with different eye colors and stuff here. See, I did a whole bunch of different eye colors. I had a lot of fun changing that up, as you can see here. You can even do fantasy eye colors if you'd like. Oh, I did a patch here in case I wanted a patchy cat. Also, like I did different, you know, like those cats with the 2 different color eyes. I did that as well. So lots of different options to change up the face, just basically using color. So you can make all sorts of different cool custom cats and personalize things if you wanted to, just changing up the colors and shapes and adding some patterns and stuff. So when I was done, I just saved it as a TIFF file and then a PNG, and then I just transferred it over to my email, did some photoshopping and Illustrator and all that sort of stuff on my desktop computer. Next, I'll quickly show you what I did on my desktop. Okay, so I sent a TIFF file and a whole bunch of PNG faces. I emailed this to myself, but the TIFF file didn't really work because normally the TIFF files have a lot of layers to it. What I did was luckily I saved a bunch of PNGs of the different cat faces. I'm just gonna click off the eyes here so you can sort of see all the different layers I have. So just did a few different colors and patterns and different eye colors and that sort of thing. Obviously you can do whatever you'd like. You can do different ear shapes. I just wanted to do some really fun shapes and stuff. You don't even have to do eyelashes. I just like to do eyelashes. This could be a boy or a girl cat, doesn't really matter, but if you want to erase these eyelashes, you can totally do that. You don't even have to do a heart-shaped nose. Obviously there's so many things you can do. You don't have to put whiskers, you don't have to do a mouth like this. There's so much you can do. This is just what I ended up doing. Also, I was saying earlier that you can do fantasy eye colors. You can totally do that, but you can also do fantasy fur color too, right? So I'm just trying to make things the same shape as this die. I put the original template layer in here as well over top because I noticed that for some reason there's some color going over top of the layers. Yeah, stuff like this, you can sort of see it's not as black. It's just this gray tone going over top of it. So what I did was instead, I just put that over top of that. Okay, and so what I'm going to do here, a very, very bold black line, click on this layer. This pops up, and then I'm just click on stroke. I already put it to 20, but normally it's at 30 or something. So change the pixels here to 20. You can do bigger, smaller, whatever you want. And I'm just gonna zoom out here. Right click and zoom out. But yeah, it looks really cool. And then you can get a really bold line around everything. So I'm going to save 5 of these different head shapes as a PNG so that there's a transparent background here. So this one is, just gonna name this all cat heads in TIFF. Cat heads, illustration, retro modern. There's kind of a retro modern look to it. Okay, so I'll do that. And then save as PNG. White eye color, cat eye. Save. Save as PNG. Orange tabby. Cat head. Save. Gray tabby. PNG. Save as black cat. This one's perfect for Halloween, I think. And then white cat with eye patch. Did I do the black one? I might have accidentally saved it as a TIFF. Okay, let's try that again. Yeah, I'm gonna save that as a PNG because I meant to do that. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so I got all this stuff. Okay, so I wanna just drag and drop some of the PNGs here. Shift that. Drag that down. Shift that, drag that down. So I'm gonna go to my untitled thing here. And I'm just gonna start bringing at least a couple of these guys in here. They should be the size that I'm looking for my specific die. Copy and paste. So for my desktop, it's Windows, and this is Photoshop CS4 in case you guys didn't know that. Just gonna bring things up a bit here. so that things don't get cut off in the printer, hopefully. For the Windows copy and paste, it's Control-C and then Control-V when you get into the area that you want to paste. I've done lots of digital tutorials on this stuff before, so you guys can check that out. I'll try to link the link down below for you if you'd like, okay? And then I'm just gonna put stuff over top of some of these images real quick. The last one that I'm gonna bring in real quick is orange tabby here. Just bring that one over, copy and paste it into my untitled 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper here. So basically, if I want to, I can just click off things here, right? And then I can just print stuff. So I'm just gonna print it up with 2 different cats on it, and then I'll show you guys that. Okay, it's kind of hard to capture all of the stuff that I did here, but yeah, this is pretty much all the little cats that I did. The black cat, as you can see, is very dark. It's hard to see the actual line work when it's printed up. So you can either do grayer lines, something a little lighter. It's good to have a contrast, right? So something maybe like white or gray line work, so you can see everything more, or you could also make this a little bit of a lighter black color. That's another option too. But everything else looked pretty good, I feel. And this is the original image here that I was working with. So the cat face is a different shape. Pretty much most of it's kind of different. The ears are definitely pointy and it's got a little tuft of hair there. But I think it captured, it could have been lighter gray too. I didn't really color pick anything. I just eyeballed it. But yeah, it was just a starting point reference. Anyways, I really like how this turned out. I'm gonna bring back the die real quick. So I got the smaller die, which I've been using a lot. And then I have the larger one too. What I might do is actually just use the larger die. I want more of a thick border on everything, because this guy, you might have a bit of an outline border, but I think it's going to be quite thin. And I honestly like the idea of having a thicker border like this to make an embellishment or card. So I'm really excited to do that. So I'm going to probably not use this guy, and I'll just use this one for all 6 of these. I'm going to just do one at a time, but it should be pretty quick, I think, to run it through my Big Shot Plus, and then I'll just show you guys the aftermath of that. That's next. Okay, so I've already cut out all 6. Honestly, this took me minutes. Yeah, kind of crazy how little time it took, but cut them out with my Big Shot. And if you guys really don't know how to die cut, or you've never seen somebody die cut before, I do have videos on die cutting. I don't love doing die cutting videos, mainly because the lighting is really terrible. It's really hard to shoot my Big Shot and do the die cutting, but I have done it. So I'll link those videos down below in case you're interested in seeing some sort of die cutting process. You could also do stuff like this if you have a Cricut, Silhouette, or some sort of print and cut machine. So it's a little difficult, as you can see. This is actually a really good example. You can screw up and shift things when you're cutting. So one option is to put down some washi tape that hopefully will lift up off your paper. A lot of my washi tapes are quite sticky and it's hard to lift it up without paper ripping. Some people have washi tape that peels up really easily and doesn't ruin the paper. Mine doesn't tend to do that. I don't know. I got mine from the dollar store, I think, so it's probably not the best. But I think stuff like mint tape, it has like a really low tack, so it's a little easier to actually put your die down and align things nicely, and then you can just tape that down and it won't shift as you're putting it through the die machine. So what I could do though to fix this, because this is a nice black border, what I would do, I've got this Pigma brush pen by Micron. It says BR, so you know it's a brush pen, okay? So it looks kind of like this. And I like using this to, so in case you cut things kind of wonky, even when you're fussy cutting and stuff, you can just basically go like this. Tilt things on its side. It'll look really black at first, but I think it'll dry closer to the color once it's dry. But it'll look intentional. This is a really good one because it's got a few of these all over the place. So I did that with most of my dies, but some of them were actually bang on. Another thing you could do is you could laminate stuff, but then you can't touch up things easily in case things do actually shift. But if you laminate things, it's easier to put tape down without ripping paper as well. But yeah, that's how I fix that, and it looks really good in the end. And yeah, I'm probably going to fix up all my dies that look like that. So this one, I think it was already like this, perfectly in the lines. Yeah, I don't know. I think they turned out pretty pretty good, most of them. So I did 5 different cat faces. This one's the same cat face. I just did it twice just for fun. But yeah, you can make these into all sorts of different things. You could make this whole thing into a banner if you want. But yeah, you can, as I said, you can change things up really, really easily in Procreate. Draw things out really, really easily, intuitively, like you would with like a pencil and paper or marker or whatever, however you draw things out. I find Procreate's really, really intuitive to use as a digital art program. So if you guys are able to get your hands on Procreate in some way, I have an iPad for mine. My iPad's from 2020. It does the job. It's pretty good. But yeah, I really, really like it. And I just wanted to show you guys a different method. And you can totally, if you wanted to, you could do the characters that I showed you before. You can do that in Procreate instead of Illustrator, Photoshop, even the Hello Kitty one. You can always draw stuff out in Procreate and then just cut things out with this guy if you wanted to. So, but yeah, if you guys are confused by any of the steps, like say you don't know how I digitally made everything fit this die, the beginning of the series, I have that link down below for you guys. That's the Luna and Artemis cards and embellishments that I did. You guys can check that one out if you haven't seen that one yet. Anyways, I hope you guys like this whole video series that I just did. I may or may not do some more stuff with this. Honestly, I'm really, really enjoying this. I really like cats. I'm sure a lot of people do on the internet. I know that's kind of a thing, but I'm really, really enjoying doing this. And I think that this is really cool that you can kind of customize things to look like somebody's cat if you wanted to, especially if they have pretty simple markings, but you can always alter things to make them have markings closer to the cat's face. And as I said, you don't have to do the exact art style or anything like that I'm doing. I was just showing you one specific face. But yeah, you can do so many different types of faces as you've seen throughout this series, right? But anyways, I hope you guys liked that video. If you did, please give me a like, subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and share the video with anybody who likes cats, Procreate, die cutting, that sort of stuff, just crafting in general. Yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye! Happy crafting!